Yeah, it's one heart, one shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the...
All right, we're live. What's up, y'all? Look at us with our holiday gear. Listen, because of COVID, like I haven't had a chance to like wear this out to like a ugly sweater party. So Casey and I were like, you know what? Let's just make this live stream more holiday focused. Even though we are going to help you guys out tonight, but this is the last live stream that we're going to do together before Christmas. If you're watching this after the holidays, hope you had a great holidays. If you watch this before the holidays, what's up, man? First of all, my name is Dr.s. This is 𝐏𝐫𝐞 Coleman. We are physical therapists. We are the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind. We are physical therapy school acceptance coaches. This is what we enjoy doing, taking care of you guys, giving you the clarity and the value and the push that y'all need to get accepted into PT school. And we're going to help you guys do it without wasting a lot of time, without wasting a lot of money. And what we do is once a week, we actually come live into this group and we talk to y'all. We usually address something that we have seen our students that we personally coach struggle with, or something that we've noticed with a lot of students that message us and we're like, yo, like this is something that if we address this live, for the students to get to watch this live or on replay, this is going to help a lot of people get one step closer to that goal of being a physical therapy student. That's like, if you're here and you're trying to get into PT school, you are in the right place. But that's what these live conversations are for. You know, we'll have fun, but the goal is to get you one step closer. So tonight, we're going to be talking to a group of y'all that might have applied before, or you may be using you may be planning on a specific strategy when you do apply in the future. And we want to kind of break down how it might actually be a sign of something different that you may have never been told about, and how you can use what we're talking about tonight to really elevate yourself and get yourself that much closer to getting into PT school. But before we talk about it, for those of y'all that are live, let me just make sure that we are on the group or in the group. For those of y'all that are live, comment #team_live, tag a friend that is in this group or invite them to this group so that they can get some value as well. And if you watch this on replay, comment #teamreplay. But tonight's topic is why applying to as many schools as possible, because that's a strategy, right? It's a strategy that a lot of us see. It's a strategy that most of us have been told by our advisors if our GPA is a little lower, or if we're struggling in a few other areas. Hey, apply to more schools. Why applying to as many schools as possible? That's a strategy that some of us use, may actually be hurting your chances of getting accepted into physical therapy school. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. And when you take it, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us afterwards. But let's dive in. Why, and let me make sure this is pinned to the group. I see Greg, I see Alyssa, whoever else is live, comment #teamlive and we'll shout you out. I see Sammy. What's up, Sammy? Good to see y'all. Happy holidays, y'all. Happy holidays. Man, I'm sweating this thing. All right, so let's dive in. Why applying to as many schools as possible may be hurting your chances of getting accepted into PT school? So I've actually had a few conversations like this recently, Casey. And Casey and I were just talking about this right before, where I'm having students that are like, yeah, man, I want to get in. So I'm trying to find all the schools in my state. I have a few other schools that some of my friends have told me about. I've read a few, I've looked at a few websites from schools in this state. I know it's a little cheaper here. So basically what happens is this student has, or these students that I've spoken to, and this happens a lot. So if this is you are not alone. And that's why we're addressing it. But we end up thinking that, man, like, if I don't feel qualified, or if I don't feel like a strong enough like applicant, or if I don't feel like I'm going to be good enough, or I don't feel like I'm going to match up with everybody else, my cover is, let me just submit as many apps as possible. Because if I submit 15 applications, if I submit maybe even 20 applications, I'm crossing my fingers, chances are, Casey, chances are that I'll potentially get into PT school. And that's something that we've heard since before we were physical therapy students, or since before we were physical therapists, when we were pre-PTs. It's a strategy that our advisors use because it's basically a smart way to apply it. But what we're realizing is this, and this is why this is so important. If that's the strategy you've been using, and that's what we're going to dive into, is Usually when I see that, it's usually a sign of something else that has not been addressed. And that's actually why a lot of the times when we're having students reach out to us saying, hey man, like I applied last cycle to 19 schools. I had a student reach out to me to tell me that. We actually had one of our students who 2 cycles ago had applied to 15 schools. Her name is Gail. We shared her story publicly and she shared it publicly. Gail got applied to 15 schools thinking that numbers were going to be her friend. All 50, she didn't even get one interview. All 15 schools rejected her. And so now what's Gail left to think? Gail's left to think, maybe I should apply to more schools, right? Maybe I didn't apply to enough schools. What if that means that I'm not even qualified? If I can apply to 15 schools and get rejected by all of them, maybe that means that I'm not even gonna be qualified to get into a PT program. And so what we did with Gail, and that's what we're gonna talk about tonight, is took a step back and we said, yo, like there's something else. There is something that was not addressed that we need to take care of in order to make sure that the next time you apply, you're a strong applicant. Funny enough, next time Gail applied, I think she applied to like 6 or 7 schools, not 15. And out of that number, I think she had 3 to 4 acceptance letters, multiple interviews, 3 to 4 acceptance letters. And it wasn't like she just became a different, like, she just like lied to them or something or showed them different numbers. Like she was the same person, but there was a shift that took place. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because if your plan is to just apply to as many schools as possible, chances are there's something that you have not addressed that is holding you back or may lead you to some disappointment that we want to help you avoid. But that's what we want to discuss. So Casey, talk to us, man, for the students that are using this strategy as basically a cover up for their insecurities, or maybe hoping that, you know, something will work out, or maybe not feeling good enough or feeling qualified as applicants. Like, why does this stuff happen, man? And how can we deal with it?
Yeah, I think you hit everything. There's not much else to add except, you know, stuff on top of what you already said, but to give them more validation that, like, we're not playing when we say if you're just throwing stuff out there into as many schools as possible, it may not be to your benefit. If you go to the PT-CAS applicant data report, put that into Google, and one of the first 2 links will pop up. Go ahead and scroll a little bit until you find how many schools people have applied to. And you'll see anywhere between 1 and I don't know what the biggest number is, 90 something, whatever the biggest number is. You'll see that at a certain point, the number of acceptances a person has based on how many schools they apply to go down. Basically, to keep it simple, from a lot of what Joseph said. I don't really know what other way to put it. You're most likely applying to a lot of schools because you're like, I have a low GPA, somebody accepts me.
Yep.
I have a low GRE score, let me just apply to some schools and see what happens. I'm not good with my essays, or I'm insecure about my letter of recommendations, or I'm a career changer student, or my classes are expired. Let me just throw it out, and maybe one of those schools I might be a match for with what I have to offer. And that's really the basic bulk of the answer.
Yep.
Now, to make it even more concrete, let's make this an analogy for like another, for like something else not related to physical therapy and pre-PTs.
Yeah.
Joseph likes to use like the marriage example a lot. You can use that too. I'm really into finances and the stock market and all that stuff. So when you're trying to find somebody you want to date or marry, it's the same concept. Oh, let me just find out who's out there. Maybe because, you know, I saw that's what other people did, or I'm insecure about this. Some guy is going to like me. Some girl is going to like me, even though I haven't worked on this or haven't worked on that. Same thing with finances, with if you're researching companies to put money into. Let me just put money into all these companies, and one of them might go up, even though all other 99 might go down and you lose everything.
You got it.
So what is really the underlying concept of why you're applying to those many schools? Yes, the desperation is there. Yes, the anxiety is there. Yes, the frustration. Yes, I want to get on with my life, just accept me. But as you can probably see, the students who are more confident, and as you can see in the data report, just don't feel a need to do so most of the time. Now, there are outliers, of course, but a lot of that is because They're like, no, I don't need to apply to that many schools. I don't want to pay that much money because I'm a catch, or I have worked on myself enough to make myself attractive to these number of schools.
Got it.
So I don't need to apply to 17 or 34.
Yep.
Now, can you do that and possibly hit? Sure, of course, absolutely. But I think for a lot of the audience listening, that is the bulk of their answer. Are you going to fix what the problem is so that you can reduce that cost of applying to all those schools? And you can reduce your stress of applying to all those schools, because the cost is no joke. PTCast does not care how many schools you apply to. If you get accepted or not, they're taking your money. Has PTCast ever called you and said, hey, how's your application going?
Nope.
No. Oh, you messed up on this part? Hey, we saw you messed up on this part. How's it going?
Yeah,
No.
don't care. Nope.
They're okay. The more you apply, the better.
Yep.
It does not matter. Does not matter. So keep that in mind. Then lastly, when I said the stress level, if you have to do all this research that we recommend doing and how we recommend doing it, you're going to be very stressed out on top of all the other stuff you have to do to apply to PT schools. And if you stack up the research, the amount of research you want to do for a specific school, and multiply that by 15, 20, 34, you won't be having a lot of fun.
Nope.
So those are just toppings to add on to what you said, because that is the answer. I'm not going to try and give another answer because that is it. So definitely rewind, watch that again, and use it, apply it, and execute.
Boom, boom. I love it, y'all. So if right now you're listening to this and you're like, yo, that was my strategy. That was the way I was going about it. It's because I just don't feel like a strong enough applicant without having to just kind of cast my net out wider. What we did is you probably heard us talk about it before, but if you haven't watched our Acceptance Navigator series, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it, because at the heart of it, this is rooted, it's really guesswork. If I'm applying to that many schools for that reason, I'm guessing. And I'm actually not as qualified of an applicant for those schools because, like Casey was saying, I can't even go deeper. It's like a shallow relationship with all the different schools. Literally, the wider I cast my net, the more I have to rely on just the superficial stuff, my GPA, my GRE, instead of the other things that you can do to really become the perfect applicant for each of the schools that y'all are working your tail off to apply to, whether it's next fall or next summer or the year after that. And so go to the Acceptance Navigator series. Go to the link below, acceptancenavigator.com. It's a free 4-part video training series. Go watch it like 2 nights or as soon as possible. Grab a notebook, take some notes, and then ask yourself, what is this showing me? How can I use this path that Casey and Joseph share in this training to not guess anymore, to not have to just try, right? We're all told, just give it a shot. But y'all, that has so many ramifications. If I just try, y'all think that just applying and hoping for the best isn't going to affect you psychologically? Of course it is. It's like when I hear students say, I'm just going to try the GRE, and then but I'll plan to take it later, as if that won't affect you still. I see that all the time. So if you don't want to do that anymore, if you want to apply in a way that is not guessing, where you, regardless of where you're at, you're able to really, really fine tune and focus on where you should be applying, how you should be tailoring yourself for those schools, who you need around you, then go watch that training, acceptancenavigator.com. If that is something you're struggling with, you have no reason not to watch that training. That's why it's there for you. We nailed that down in there even more than this live stream. So go watch that. If you have questions after it, hit us up. And that is going to be a massive shift for you as we go into 2021. So let's get it, y'all. Don't just use those strategies of just casting your net out wider as a way to cover up what really needs to be taken care of. That's why, if y'all have ever heard us talk about our students, that's why they do well. It's not because they have 4.0s. Most of them have sub 3.0s GPAs when they start working with us, but they realize they can't follow that strategy. They have to step back, see what's really there, act on that, fine tune themselves to the target schools that they need to apply to. And then most of them end up applying to 5 to 7 schools and they get in, right? So that's the route you want to go. So go to acceptancenavigator.com. Let's get it. Y'all have an amazing holiday season. Enjoy it with your family. Don't get COVID, and eat some cookies and all that stuff. So have a good one. Much love. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.